You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Hey everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Dave, and this is a Fistful Podcast from FFOPradio.com. Back for another great episode. Guys, let me introduce you to my co-host for this episode. God knows when you're hearing it, or if you're hearing it. Maybe it fell into a black hole.
It did.
Probably. But then it had been crushed to a singularity, and no one will ever hear it. All the ones and zeros, now it's just a single one because of the singularity. Get it? That might be a
Actually,
joke.
I think if it's a singularity, it's like a .1.
Well, singularity means like singular. Well, just say, let's make it a regular one. Anyway, you've heard him say .1.
.1.
He's said other things. He's been on the show before.
I have been here before.
He is my co-host on, or I am his co-host technically, if you want to get into it and ego-driven. I am his lowly co-host on the YouTube show Raiders of the Lost Genre.
Raiders of the Lost Genre.
It is my buddy Scotty Vaughn.
Hey,
back
what's up?
on the show.
Hey, I'm back. So yeah, I figured we could start off by talking about your incense
Yeah.
and its sexual energy and its ability to cleanse
Well, so
my anus from here.
we
even though
need
it's-
to, I guess, unpack the context then. So you are technically.
I think that's what it's doing for me right now. Is it's unpacking things.
Yeah. Well, be careful. That's an old sofa, but it doesn't need any new shit stains. You know what I mean? We done. So yeah. Context given, we are here in the new FFOP studios.
Brand new. Is this so? This is the first recording in the new studio.
First recording with a guest in studio.
Okay.
We actually did a episode not 48 hours ago, maybe longer. I don't know. Time is fluctuative.
I'm popping the guest spot cherry here.
Yeah, for sure. You're the first actual person to talk in that microphone
Yeah.
who does not live in this house. That's the
Right.
qualifier. Chris
Right.
has already done it.
Yeah.
But yeah, how does it feel breaking this baby?
I like it.
You know,
I
it's-
like this. Yeah, this
it's-
is a cool setup.
It's probably
actually,
like
I feel this. I feel in some ways that I like this setup a little bit better. Like I said, I like this desk and this couch over here. I feel like we could like do a host.
right. It feels like a real
show.
talk show now,
Yeah.
right? Because
Am I on camera?
no, this is just a podcast. But if we were on camera, that would
That's
be
what
your
that would-
camera. Yeah, you would
That's
look into
a
that.
really interesting setup you got there.
Right. For those of you who cannot see, which is all of you,
Yeah,
it is a.
because you're all blind.
I'll throw a shout out if
Because
Pete
it's
is
Day of the Triffids.
Yeah,
Triffids.
Triffids. Oh my God, we can talk about that movie. But Pete, my buddy, gave me that camera, that HD SportCam 500, and so it is our second backup camera
It's
for
probably
our
better
guests.
than my camcorder, right?
It might be as good, but that's not the best part about it. The best part
I-
about it is the tripod, which is a plastic bottle of soda, or plastic can.
Is that solid plastic or is there water in it?
It's
Oh, there's
plastic.
I can see it.
Yeah, it's
moving.
liquid.
Okay.
What people who are listening are like, oh my God, I really want to know more about this plastic
Don't you
can
know?
and or bottle
Yeah.
that may or may not have liquid. So let's go into it really deep is what I'm talking about.
We should be burning the incense in that.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. When you move into a new house, all of us hippie mystics and weirdos, first thing you got to do is cleanse the aura. You got to mess with the energy. You got to, magic stuff, Scott. When you're a weirdo and you wear beads, you got to do magic shit to make sure that
Magick.
just the K. I leave out the C. 'Cause-
Leave out the C. Do you spell Magyk?
Oh, now I do.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could, but now
do now.
I'm gonna MAY.
Magy.
No shit. No.
K.
Maybe that's what I'll do. MAYGYIK.
Yeah.
Magic.
Magic.
Yeah. So then when people, I want to be one of those people who pronounces only one thing wrong, so that people have to be like, "Why do you do that?" Because that's what I,
I
want
don't
to
know,
have.
Dervis. Why do you?
Yeah, I want to have that instead of a personality. I've already got the name down,
Right.
Dervis.
Where's Dervis come from? I keep on meaning to ask, but I thought I might as well fucking corner you on the show.
Yeah, well, you might as well. I told the story a couple of times.
Oh, really?
I'm, but mostly privately. I think what happened was.
So he told you.
Yeah.
Because Krista's sitting next to me. So.
The brand of insulated tumbler that I use is Tervis.
Insulated tumbler
Yeah, like the vacuum sealed ones.
for mixing a drink?
No, like coffee. They call them tumblers, but those insulated metal. Drink.
Okay.
and it's the brand name is called Tervis.
Okay.
So what I think happened is I saw that subliminally incorporated into my name,
Right.
spit it out,
Yeah.
and then later when I was taking a picture of the cup for Flamingo Friday, because it is covered in flamingos, I saw that it had my name on it. It said Tervis. So instead of a D, it had a T, and I was like, "Oh my god, did I steal this?" And obviously I did, because why? Right? Like, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
So
That's what you do. You appropriate.
yeah. So I guess my new guru name, which I thought was rooted in my own creativity, turns out was
No.
I bought it.
So, yeah. What you do? I mean, let's face it.
Yeah. So I
keep on meaning to come up with like a good comeback. So, I mean, my nickname is Doc. People call me Doc. Everybody who knows me, and a lot of people who don't know me, know I'm a huge Doctor Who fan since like the age of 8.
Totally.
Right. So I'll meet somebody and I'll introduce myself, or I'll be introduced as Doc, and then they'll get to know me and they'll realize I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, and then they'll go, "So is the Doc because of the Doctor Who?"
Because you're a doctor.
Right. And I keep it. Yeah, exactly.
Dr.
It's like at some point I need to come up with something, smart that
It's
says, no, actually it's.
I have a
it is.
doctorate
It's
in
the
art
Doctor Who.
philosophy. What?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. With nicknames.
I always wanted what do you call it? An honorary doctorate.
Yeah, like
Yeah, and for like $200 I can get one from Universal Life Church, which is the
get a
same place.
Cosby. Yeah, that's where I got my.
Did you say a Cosby?
Yeah, like an honorary degree from where did he go? Huxley University.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, that's Life Church is
Did
where
he
I
name
got,
his character after that?
probably.
Holy shit!
Wouldn't that be weird?
Yeah.
Well, but that's the weird thing about nicknames is like the first. For me, anyway, the first time I meet someone and I'm locked into when I meet them, that's the way they are. So since we met in a professional setting, you were like, I am Scott.
I am Scott.
Locked in as Scott.
Yeah.
I have a buddy whose real name is crazy and starts with a G. He's been on this show. Geraint is his real name. But that's hard to say for us English people.
Mayjic.
Not English. Yeah, basically. Us Americans, because he's from Wales.
Oh.
And Geraint is apparently a popular name. So
From where?
Wales.
Wales.
He's Welsh. So we had us.
Next time you're talking to him, say boyo.
He says, well, and not for nothing, but the UK, you can split that up a million different ways, and everybody hates everybody.
Yeah.
But he introduced himself as Taff. Taff was on his name tag because it's easy to say.
Taff.
Yeah.
T-A-F.
Taff, 2 Fs.
Not to be confused with Taft.
Right. Which I did for a while until I saw the name tag. But
And you're like, oh.
Then they come to find out Taff is like a slang derogatory term for the Welsh, given by the English. But that's the thing. So now, outside of that,
Ponce.
outside of that context, when I see him, or like when I would go and see him in public, he is known by 3 different names, and so he's being called Geraint G by friends and family, and then I know him as Taff.
And you're such a toff.
Because I'm locked
You
in.
fucking tosser.
And so what do? It's hard once your brain learns a name.
Yeah, it's true.
It's hard to go like. Is
anybody calling you Dervis, or that's
no?
just...
Nobody's calling me Dur. I don't expect them to. It's a joke name. It's not a real nickname.
Right.
You can't give yourself what. Derek Sponge calls me Dervis, but that's mostly out of spite.
All
I
right,
think
that's fair.
I think he does it ironically, but that's the thing. When you give yourself, if you give yourself a nickname, then people go, okay, yeah.
I mean, the reason part of the reason mine stuck is A, it's in the signature at this point, but B, it was college, so like everybody in college. I mean, this is college in the '90s,
Yeah.
So we were all in like IRC chat.
Oh yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Even though you're sitting like literally like across from the motherfucker,
right?
You're calling them by the chat name and you're typing to them instead of talking to them.
Yeah, I grew up in a similar era. We had AIM, and so all of our screen names were all of our screen names. But that was the thing too. Maybe that's part of it. Is like when you grew up and then the internet popped and your screen name was you.
Yep.
You took that everywhere.
Yep.
I took that same name to laser tag. I took that same name across every instant messenger.
Laser tag.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We would, because Laser Quest before it shut down would let you give whatever name you want as long as it wasn't a swear. So I was always Wolfwood.
Right.
And I would have to spell it every time. It seems very common knowledge to me. Wolfwood, WOLF, like the animal, WOOD, like the substance, like the trees are made out of.
Like a hardcock.
Yeah. And every fucking time
It's not my fault. It's that
It's the incense.
it's the incense.
It's the incense cleansing
because
your
it's a
anus.
sexual.
I don't
Incense.
even know. It might not be sexual. This might be like weird menopausal type stuff.
Well, I'm having hot flashes. so-
Krista pulled all of them at random.
Oh, a set of. Okay.
Here's-
Does it come with butt plugs?
Let's talk about being weird for a little bit. So turning into a weirdo like I've come into contact with a lot of people who make me look like
Yeah, you're not trying hard enough.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you were to see me out of context, you'd be like, "Oh, that guy looks like a weirdo and a hippie because he's
Right.
dripping in beads and looks like a weirdo."
Right.
But if I stood next
Not
to,
anal beads. to
not
be
anal
sure,
beads,
No.
yeah, I don't wear those around my neck; those smell. But if I stand next to literally anyone from any of the stores I go to buy all my Mystic shit,
Right, you kinda
I
stand
would
out,
look
yeah.
like an accountant.
Yeah.
Like I would look like a dude in a white
Oh, you're having the
starched
opposite. All right.
shirt. No, yeah, that's the thing. I am nothing compared to these people.
At which stores?
There's a place called Fantasia Crystals,
Okay.
for example, or the
Where?
Sex Magic Shop in Phoenix on 7th Street.
Okay. But
Great.
the sex magic shop was in Cali.
Yeah, but
But
I
Anal
just to plug Fantasia Crystals, who've been there a lot. I got that Kali thing. I got all these.
Why don't you have a mic? This is. It's like I need you as my peanut gallery.
I don't
You're just
have-
laughing every time that I say something stupid.
I didn't plug it in. So Krista is here. So if you hear her off mic, she is here. But yeah, that's the thing. It's a great little store, and
Where is it?
7th Street and Indian School, I want to say.
Which do you like better, Black Mineral Market or this other place you mentioned?
So here's the thing. Black Mineral Market, for those unaware, for those uninitiated, here in Arizona, Black Mineral Market is like
I mean, there's fucking awesome stones.
it's
in there.
awesome, but it's a corporate hippie store.
Mhm.
It's all their
And
stuff
I can,
has.
okay, you know what? I would like a couple of months ago. I probably would have been like, really, but no. I've actually seen like the hippies outside of the mall getting a box from the store owner who's driven up in his fucking Audi, and he's wearing a suit.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why when you go, if you're going to be a weirdo and get into all this magic and religious, pseudo-religious bullshit, look for genuineness.
Right.
Because that's what I like about Fantasia Crystals in the but that's what I'm getting at. The Fantasia Crystals here
know,
in
I'm
7th
such
Street
a- I'm-
offer sex magic workshops.
Oh,
And they're going to have a class on Sam Hain and all that other shit. But
really?
yeah, it's so funny though, because for me
I want
anyway,
to go to a fucking Halloween.
we should. I'll show you the store. It's incredible.
yeah.
All the crazy shit in my little shrine behind that door there, I got from there.
You mean the clown pictures?
No, the clown pictures I had way before I was a weirdo. That was a different type of weirdo. But like we went in there and
Now everybody's wondering what the clown pictures are.
they'll never know. I'll never tell you.
Oh God,
You'll
guys
never
have to-
know.
you
There's
guys-
clown pictures
You have
in
no
here,
idea what's depicted in these clown pictures,
and they're behind that door.
and they're behind the door. You can't see them unless
I want to get. You know,
Jervis opens the door.
I'll show. Here's the thing. If I can get
I'm just gonna look over at her so I can like.
look like, hey, back me up on this one.
Was that good? Huh?
I think that clown picture, for people who will never see it, I think that clown picture needs a literal velvet curtains with a thing on the side that goes whoosh,
Oh, and a
Right?
light.
and a light.
Yeah.
So that when you open it, it looks like this is high
Oh,
art.
yeah,
You go,
what's in there? Oh
But
shit!
here's my
what the
ask.
fuck?
Here's my ask: where do you get a small red velvet curtain
No, you
that's
make your
roughly
own.
24?
No, you make your
I
own.
made my own.
Yeah, you got to get those silent runners that the chick from Twin Peaks makes.
What? I don't have. There's not enough hours in the day for me to.
No,
learn.
there isn't. But you need to do this now.
I'll go to Etsy.
Fine, you go.
There's
to
a
Etsy,
weirdo on
you get-
Etsy.
Yes.
I'll type in. Here's what I'll do. I guarantee there.
Everybody's
going to
think they got like who was it? Which serial killer was the one who dressed as a clown?
Gacy.
They're gonna think it's like a Gacy shrine.
Yeah. Well, my clown looks a little different
I see how it is.
than.
I'm not as funny anymore. Now you're looking at your fucking
She's
phone.
like, no, check it out.
She's looking at Etsy.
What
That's
was-
awesome. You can
Yeah,
keep her.
ty-
You
type
should
it on
You should
Etsy.
marry. Oh wait, I married you too. Never mind.
Type on Etsy. Just type in like clown picture velour curtain, and I guarantee there's like 500 hits, and it'll be exactly what I'm saying.
Right.
But they did it on not to drop these guys again, but on Red Letter Media
Yeah.
for the first Black Spine, they had their little velour. So I mean,
Did they? I
yeah,
don't
for
remember.
because it was like this big and just one shelf, and they go
Yeah.
whoop. So if I could have one of those, but here's the thing, I want I don't want that Reg's ass broke dick. Like I have to grab each shirt and pull it apart.
No.
I want a single
you wanna
string that
pull a
goes
cord.
shh,
Yeah.
and has a nice.
And it should look like. I mean, no. You need like a fucking velvet rope.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
With a nice gold tassel. Like
Yes.
Crushed velvet. Like
Yes.
this painting right here is done on black crushed velvet.
Yeah, that's
That
a
is-
velvet. Oh God,
yeah.
I thought it was a relief.
No, yeah, that's crushed velvet. That's
Jesus,
Zeus.
that's
up
better
there.
than my velvet Elvis that I've got.
My
Which, by the way, you guys can see the velvet Elvis if you watch certain episodes of Raiders of the Lost Genre.
Yeah, it is. It makes special appearances. But yeah, everything in here is all weirdo shit. But that's the thing. What we went to the weirdo shop, and I got to. I got to. It was a pleasure. I got to listen to a woman talk about the,
The sex magic.
But no, not even that. Like that would have at least been interesting. But the merits of mermaids and whether or not they belonged in which part of the store, right? Because
She's like, do we put the mermaids?
no,
with
she didn't
the
even work there.
crystals?
She didn't even work
Oh,
there.
some other bitch is just
Yeah,
like,
she was.
the mermaids do not belong over here with the crystals.
She
They
is a
belong over
patron
here.
being like, I am so glad that we got mermaids over in Caden's section because he needs more cryptids to balance out his blah, 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 blah. And that's the thing. For me, all of this shit was to
Wait.
break out of that.
Hang on a second. Wait a minute. This store's so cool. It has a cryptid section.
It literally, it is probably as big as this studio, right?
Well, that's not very big. But,
Not
I mean,
huge.
this is bigger than your last studio.
Right. But that's the thing.
This was 2 bedrooms. by the
Yeah,
way?
this was 2 bedrooms.
This is 20 feet, or is this more than 20 feet?
Yeah, it's probably 10 by 20.
It is? Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's what the beauty of it is.
Wow.
Is like it's such a small store, but it's packed. Like
Yeah.
there's the Hindu corner, the Buddhist corner. They've got the Greek pantheon,
We're
the
all-
Norse
we're all
pantheon. Yeah, and that's the thing about these things is like when
And
you
the
get
cryptids.
when you get into weirdo stuff, nothing is off limits.
It's true.
Like you cannot, if you're going to be a weirdo, you have to accept the Greek, the African, the Wiccan,
Yeah.
the Egyptian, all that as real. You have to say Santa Muerte is as legitimate as Unga. You know what I mean?
Wow, that was a deep cut.
But how do you do that?
You're right. now that whoa,
We get weird.
we're adjusting here. I'm back another inch or a couple
Oh
inches
yeah,
here.
it's a wavy.
Is
couch.
this a click clack?
It used to be.
Oh, okay.
Then
All
it
right.
broke.
Shit, I was going to ask something. Oh, so I will say this much about Black Mineral Market being a corporate store. The prices on a lot of stuff really low.
That's the great thing about it is rocks are rocks are rocks are rocks are fucking rocks.
Yeah.
So if a person who smells like patchouli wearing nothing but like tattered rags sells you a piece of tourmaline for $2,700 and claims that it will decrease the stress harboring, itself in your solar plexus chakra,
Sure.
that tourmaline that you buy at Black Market Minerals for $1.50 will do the same thing,
True.
except the person behind the counter is a bohemian girl who's like, yeah, I put in white person dreads because I'm fun. Like they're not into the lifestyle. They're into the aesthetic.
Okay.
It's
I
very-
mean, it's not like I've interviewed them, but sure, I'll give you that.
Trust me, if you go into Black Market Minerals and you say, do you know anything about the magic of blank? Don't care what it is. They'll go,
All right.
Huh?
I see what you're saying.
walk into Fantasia
So they're not legit
Crystal.
in that
Yeah.
regard.
No, yeah. What you want is legitimate crazy people.
Sure.
Because if you
Which is what our houses look like, but we really aren't.
Right. But you have to go to a legitimate crazy person to get their aesthetic.
Right.
I brought that home.
Right.
Like everything in here.
Hence,
looks-
you and I standing in those rooms and sticking out his sore thumbs for not looking weird enough.
Right. And that's part of it too. Is
Is that-
if-
I mean, Black Market Minerals is where I got the tiki that's sitting outside my house. A whole bunch of the rocks that are in the house.
yeah. And that's the thing about it is like if you are, everything can be valueless or invaluable.
Sure.
Depending on who you ask.
exactly. Like that tiki was like $7.
Yeah. That's the great thing about
And
it.
it's like one of my favorite.
If you
things
go to
about that.
like a mom and pop rock shop, like an old
As you
dude who's
do.
just I do literally. I go to old mom and pop rock shops. There's a beautiful one in downtown Tucson and one on the outskirts. But if it's just old dudes who love rocks, they can't wait to give you anything you want for $7 or less. But if it's someone who will also offer you an aura reading, they're going to have to like retrieve some of your blood as payment. Like
First child.
yeah, Fantasia has tarot reading, psychic reading, sex magic classes. They will do
30 minutes or an hour.
yeah, anything you want. Like, but that's the thing.
This is starting to sound like private room shit.
It's very I don't even know how to describe it because it feels like a club where everybody gets to bring their own rules. So it's almost like a big Marvel Cinematic Universe where instead of everybody's fighting, everybody's cool.
Right.
Like if you like Vishnu can hang out with Ares or Persephone or Artemis or Anubis.
They all watch American Gods.
Yeah, they all just fucking hang out, and like that's the thing. You can find like if you're a crazy person,
Right.
that is, you can find legitimacy in mermaids,
Yeah.
as well as Santa Muerte or whatever Odin.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's so
just laid back.
Yeah.
Laid back esoteric, man.
they're just like, hey, brother, you looking for some sort of, and that's the thing. People will come in with legitimate asks. Like if you go to a hardware store, you go, I have a project that requires XYZ parts. Do you have such things? People will come in and use the same type of dialect. Like if I go to an Ace Hardware, I say I'm building a shelf, so I need screws that are 3/8 inch that are also like not machine screws but wood screws and yada yada, and basically that level of detail.
Right.
And people will walk in, they say, I've got this
I'm
situation.
building a shrine.
Not even that.
Yeah.
The shrine is built, but they say, I'm going through a situation with a person where I have to cleanse an aura, banish a demon,
Wow.
and blah, 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 blah. And they go, okay, I've got you covered.
Yeah.
Burn this, put this here, rub this oil here. And then it's like fucking, like seriously, it's down to
Anoint
like,
your nipples with this oil.
Yeah, it's nitty
Dance
gritty.
around the room 3 times, spinning these tops upon your fingertips.
It's nitty gritty brass tacks. Like
But this, but just to make sure that you're covered, yes, this is Buddhist. This is.
Yeah, and they'll point you in the right direction because they say, oh, I've got XYZ problem.
Wow.
I say, well, I've had, it's all the same sort of lingo too. They say, I've got too many obstacles.
I have to banish my Sam Raimi demons. What have you got?
Yeah, if you say, oh, I've got a collecting of negative energy, and that's the beauty of it too, is like the terms are so loose and janky and pathetic
Right.
that it could literally mean anything. So that's why you could just throw a dart if you hit.
I like it.
If you hit Ares, if you hit an Ares statue, and they go, oh well, good news. Good news. Greek is your calling.
Yeah.
Or you can get your chakra
I didn't
candles
know.
or whatever.
It turns out it's my calling. Who
Yeah,
knew?
and that's all you got to do. If you walk in and immediately latch onto something, that is as good as a message from that god. Like if you walk in, you go, "Oh, that's fun. I think I'll be Egyptian." Essentially,
Right?
oh yeah.
A
So
Murphy's Law guy.
it's so anachronistic. So it's the people who come in there are either dyed in the wool weirdos or spouses of dyed in the wool weirdos.
Right.
So I'm sitting there looking at all my weird shit because I'm a dyed-in-the-wool weirdo. And dude walks in. It's been raining all day. For context, it rained all day.
Are you a spouse of a dyed-in-the-wool weirdo, or
She's slowly being dyed.
right?
Slowly.
I was
lowering
gonna. I mean,
into the-
yeah. At what point do you cross over? So
Yeah, I mean, it's eventually got to happen. But,
yeah.
So the non-mystic spouse of a mystic wife comes in, like literally brushing rain off of his shirt, right? And he goes, well, I was thinking about washing the car today, but I know if I did that, it would probably rain. Literally brushing rain out of his hair.
Right. Like, dude, I think you're already there.
Yeah. Keep in mind, we drove here in the pouring rain.
Right.
There was not a time my windshield wipers were not on max the whole hour and a half to the place. And the dude's like, I just know.
Murphy's Law.
In a fucking magic shop full of sex magic, demon magic, Santa Muerte, Greek, Roman, Norse, Wiccan, every sort of boogity boogity.
He might as well have driven there with 2 rain sticks.
Yeah.
On
And then-
teeter-totters in the back seat.
To look in the sky, to see all the clouds, the darkness, the chill in the air, the rain literally falling into your eyes.
I know
and be
it's
like,
going to rain, so I better not.
I was thinking about washing the car, but then my senses relayed to me the
When?
outside world.
4 days ago, because it's been raining for like 3.
Fucking idiot. I couldn't believe it. But that's the type of thing that, like, in a safe space like a weirdo shop,
Right.
people will literally say things out loud that I don't think should ever be said. But they'll do it.
Yeah.
Because it's a safe space. And they'll
You
look
know,
at
the
a
funny part,
festival.
well, that's kind of I mean, in a way, that's kind of nice to hear because, like, I feel like I'd have the opposite. Like, the moment I'd walk into someplace like that, I'm going to say something that, just everybody just, like, the record scratch hits. You hear the fucking train brakes.
Yeah, I don't
And
think
it's
that's
like, what did you
possible.
just say? you just said something that obviously doesn't make any fucking sense because you just mixed get out,
Right.
get out. It doesn't make any sense.
Here's the thing: the first time I walked into this place, it felt like a Halloween party. Because the dude working there, the first dude I ever
sounds
saw,
like an awesome shop.
It is. I'm telling you, I'm describing it as a weirdo shop, but I like weird shit, so that's the thing. I walk in, and we're still got the masks. If you're smart here, dude's got a punk rock mask, is wearing a kilt that looks like came from Hot Topic.
Excuse me.
And is like a Scottish punk rock mohawk, all the colors of the bow.
You said he's
face
wearing a
mask.
kilt?
Yeah.
Regular kilt or utility kilt?
It was like if the goth pants of the 90s fucked a kilt and like in a shameful one night stand, and then they had a baby that they dropped at somebody's door. That door was this man.
I've never heard. This is not a brand I'm aware of, but go ahead.
Yeah, it is like if Hot Topic and Spencer's got together and they're like, what if we tried to cater to the Scots? And this is what they would come up with. It was completely irrational.
But no tardens.
No.
Because we don't want to single anybody out.
And that's the thing. It's so the mishmash of people there is so bizarre because I did not get up the guts to not the guts. I didn't care. I didn't care enough to ask this kid. But one of the kids who checked me out one day, you know how dudes will get that male pattern cul-de-sac baldness sort of thing going on. Dude had a fake one because it had been a few hours since he had shaved it. So where the male pattern baldness cul-de-sac was, there was already 5 o'clock shadow, and the rest of it was cropped like Picard level short. So I was like, are you intentionally going for a Picard TNG style haircut?
All right. I mean, yeah, why not shave the rest of it off?
Right.
I mean, if you're avoiding the comb over syndrome.
And the hair, well, that's the thing. Hair, the 5 o'clock shadow, thick as the hair on the side, also black as night.
Chris, is this a problem you have or no? No. No, chicks apparently don't have that problem.
Well, the comb over situation? Oh,
yeah.
Hardly ever. They just sort of accept it.
You're just not there yet.
But, so that guy with his little comb over, next time I come in, he is dressed like one of the cowboys from the Winona's Big Brown Beaver music video. It was such a dress. Like, the first time I saw him is like in a white button-up shirt where with the cul-de-sac cut into his hair where he looked like a 40-year-old Mormon missionary working at a mystic shop. And the next time I see him, he is Les Claypool singing Winona's Big Brown Beaver with a plastic face and a giant 25-gallon cowboy hat.
I think you need to get some matchsticks together and build some little mini houses to put on his cul-de-sac next time you see him.
God knows what he'll be next time. He could be Pongo or whatever Gacy's name was. The steampunk giraffe guy.
It's fine, because if you see him without his makeup on, he has that hair like that, and then he puts the cowboy hat on. Maybe
no, he is losing his hair legitimately. He is legitimately losing his hair, and he's covering it up with makeup.
So he's losing the hair on the top, and that's what he's shaving.
This man, he's not losing it. No. He's a kid. A kid. If he is 22, I will shit myself.
I've seen people balding it.
But he's not bald. I'm telling you, like, if you shave your face and if I shave my head,
so all of it,
yes, and then the 5 o'clock shadow comes back, and you can see I'm not balding. I literally just shaved my head, and now we're 2 days into it. Right. He did that. He shaved the top, kept the sides short.
All right.
It was an enforced.
You are the normal guy in the room.
Yeah, he was an enforced Friar Tuck essentially. But I wanted to be like, why? Why are you doing that? But then the next time when he was a fucking cowboy, I was like, okay, that's just your thing. Every time I see you, you're going to be another side character from a wacky 80s movie. He wasn't there today. But
wait a minute. Backtrack a second. You guys went to this store today.
Yeah, you see those prayer flags?
That was my next question. What did you buy while you were there?
The Tibetan prayer flags, that literal incense burner.
This one?
No, that I got on Etsy. The prayer flag's above there.
Okay.
So when they blow, it's like what I don't know.
And you got an incense burner for my anal cleansing, which is very sweet of you.
Only $8, which is incredible for a hippie shop.
Yeah, no, it is.
I got a little Ganesha thing in my shrine there, and
I love it when I get the Ganesha in my shrine.
We can go down that path. I think Ganesha's overrated. Thoughts?
The elephant is my totem animal. That's as far as I'll go.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd you hear that?
Nowhere.
I mean, who read it?
This was a self decision.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I was always drawn most to
Okay.
the elephants when I went to the Milwaukee County Zoo as a kid.
Yeah. Well, I
in
hear
fact, I even
totem animal.
quote unquote adopted an elephant at one point.
I adopted a road, but never ate a peanut. I'm kidding. But
That's
yeah,
so disappointing. Gosh, your childhood sucked.
I know. I'd say, hey, ate the peanut. I named it elephant and everything. It wouldn't do shit.
It was such a weird road too.
Yeah. But yeah, so when you say totem animal, I think because totem automatically, and it shouldn't, leads me to like the Pacific Northeast Indian. No,
Sure.
Northwest.
Okay.
Pacific Northwest Indians. Because when you say totem, like 'cause when I grew up, my grandmother was really into Native American culture.
Right.
And so I learned a lot about all that stuff, like putting conchos on every piece of clothing I had. I learned all about totem poles and like that whole thing. And it's so like it was really quick digression. It was a funny side story because she lived in Globe,
Right.
local reference.
Yeah.
Lots of Native Americans there. But back then it was okay to call them Indians still.
Yeah.
And technically some of them still are okay with it. But whatever.
Actually, Indians are okay calling Indians Indians.
but
Like Whitey, you got to fucking call them Native Americans.
it's a crazy
Yeah.
situation. Whatever they want to be called, I'll call you that. But
Yeah.
moral of the story is when we were going over it, and because a lot of her art focused around Native American stuff too. So we talk about it. She goes, when you see an Indian in the store, she goes, don't stare at them. That makes them uncomfortable. And so the way that she said that to me just made me think that
I got to fucking what am I looking for?
No. It just made me feel like Indians were the only ones that were uncomfortable being looked at. So I would literally avert my eyes. I would, if I caught an Native American in a store, like with my grandmother, out of the corner of my eye, or like we were at a grocery store getting something to eat or whatever, and I saw one, I would go, oh, and turn my head away because she says, don't look at them, it makes them uncomfortable. And I wanted to respect that. But she just meant don't stare at them for having dark skin, which
Right.
I didn't need to know.
Right.
It wasn't the 30s.
No, right.
I didn't need to be like, oh, no, don't look at the darkies.
Yeah, yeah.
I get it. I respected them as people even back then.
Yeah.
As a child. But as that advice, I would literally be like,
You never saw a Native American until you were like, you
Yeah.
know, of an adult age, and we're like, wait, I can look you in the eye and shake your hand.
Never
right?
had to look one in the eye until
Yeah.
I was in my 20s. I kept that
Speaking,
alive.
here's another topic. At some point, I think we don't have to completely tangent over here yet if you're not done. But
I'm done.
Okay, you're done. Is that it? That's the show? Oh no. Okay. So anyway, I was
good
gonna say,
night.
good night. Woo! Thanks for joining us. I was going to talk about. I think we should have a brief discussion here about the fact that this is the new studio.
Yeah.
And the new studio is in your new house.
Uh-huh.
And your new house is in a new town.
Uh-huh.
And your new town is way the fuck outside of fucking Phoenix.
It's true. Yeah.
So let's fucking talk about this shit, man. You are in.
About how far away I am?
I mean, if there's anybody who doesn't even live in Arizona, and much less the people who live in Arizona, this is kind of an interesting place out here.
It is. It's so.
I feel like it's part of it. Driving down here at one point, I felt like I was on the 2-lane drive to Tucson, between Phoenix and Tucson.
It's the most interesting experience I've ever had living in a house, simply because, like,
don't get me wrong, I like it.
Right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm just saying, man, you were out here.
from here.
I mean, as long as we're going to talk about the weirded bead guy,
let's. Yeah, let's, because from here you can take, like every other decision, you can take two paths. Like when you hit the main stop.
And then wait, before I forget to also mention this, and then there's the magic kitchen with the island tabletop that makes ice disappear.
Where I don't even know where we are anymore because you dropped 400 tangents on me. I started a story 12 times. And I don't even know what the fucking story was anymore.
Now you know how I feel. My head's been spinning since the moment I walked in.
Do you want to talk about the fucking countertop, where we live,
Yes.
the roads you
Yes.
came here
Yes.
on? Okay, let's start at the beginning.
Yes.
So the story I was starting earlier,
Yes.
the stop sign here, you can either turn left.
The
and
glowing one?
Yes.
Yeah,
the glowing one.
Yeah, I like the red
Isn't that
glowing one.
bizarre?
It is
but if
kinda-
you turn left, it'll take you through an actual town. It'll take you through Queen Creek.
Not only that, but the road
I'll never
leading
finish
to
the
it.
story. I'll never finish the story.
And you won't, but I'm sorry, but the road leading to the glowing red stop sign literally has arrows on it so that you know which direction that you're headed. What the fuck
Right.
is that about?
Well, because people 400 or 500 people fucking just rolled through it and murdered each other, T-boning each other 50, 60 miles an
So
hour.
they had to put arrows on it and say, stupid, you go this way in this lane.
Next time you go by that
and
stop
then,
sign.
hey, by the way, there's a stop sign right here. We're going to put lights on it just so that you know.
Next time you go by the stop sign.
We're not going to spend the money to actually put a fucking light in.
No.
But we're going to light up the stop sign. I'm good. You can go now.
Next time you drive by that fucking stop sign, just stop and, like, when you actually stop and look and see all of the crosses of all the white trash that lost their lives because instead of looking at a stop sign that didn't blink, they needed one that did. How many people lost their lives? I don't know.
Which corner? Like all the corners? Just look at all the corners.
Yeah, because they're everywhere. Like if you're coming, like if you're tired or stupid or drunk, the whatever. It's crazy. But yeah, you can either go through a town or if you go straight, you're literally going through like open fields and cows and there are goats and chickens and horses everywhere. And it's like you're in the middle of Kansas for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden there's little strip malls and shit again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wild place to live. And then like people who listen to the show are probably aware of my fondness of downtown Mesa, but downtown Florence is almost as good, but smaller.
Right.
Which is tough because if you go to downtown,
and you don't have that cool museum.
Right. And that's there's no dinosaurs in Florence.
Right.
Which is a problem. If we really want to talk.
Well, there are now because you live here.
Yeah. I had to bring them. But I'm not going to let people walk through my fucking house unless I charge them an arm and a leg. And they got to wear masks and book online. And they have to give me a 5-star review. There's a lot of things going on.
I mean, just like, you might as well just be like logging into Yelp on the way in.
Yeah. I was like, well, maybe that'll be the prerequisite for to walk in. It's like you have to put your money in and then fill out a 5-star review as I personally stand over your shoulder and be like, I wouldn't word it that way. Just to make sure.
No, better adjuectives.
Yeah, that's the dystopian future I want, where the only currency is public opinion, and there's like a dude in a black stormtrooper outfit behind every kiosk, going like, I don't know if that's really good enough.
Yeah, we need to up that.
Yeah, but
the currency is going to be your Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
Oh yeah, my classic tokens. But yeah, so back when I used to live in Apache Junction, it was like, oh, well, it's half an hour to get to anywhere relevant. Right. Well, now it's 40 minutes to get to there and then another half an hour to get to someplace relevant. So but I like driving. Like
that was the cool part. It's like I really did enjoy the drive in once I was off the freeway. I was like, oh, this is literally rural Arizona.
And I personally, having lived here, would never have suspected that like we just have big ass fields like this.
Well, it's funny.
Farmland.
Yeah, it's funny because driving here reminds me in 20, 30 years, it's going to be completely
there'll be whatever a Best Buy is.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but like 20, 30 years ago, some of the area driving into your house is what it used to look like up towards like Lake Pleasant, the opposite end of the valley, where there was nothing. Oh, hey, look, we made a lake. Now it's city. Oh, lots of houses and more strip malls and a Walmart. Oh, hey, there's that old general store that's always been there for like 50 fucking years and a bar. Now you got to the lake. All right.
If you get the time and during the day, if you just like bumblefuck around this area, you can see. Because like the owners of these farms have been there for generations.
Yeah.
And they have this similar model that I've seen with mobile homes. Like they have 170 acres and they have the original farmhouse that went to shit and maybe now just be a brick chimney.
Yeah.
And 30 feet.
I passed that.
Yeah. And 30 feet away from that, there'll be a newer,
here's the house,
albeit dilapidated structure,
right.
And up to 4 structures on the same property where they're just like, this one's fucked, build a new one.
Yeah. Growing up in Wisconsin, I was telling you guys about my 2,300 population,
huge
town.
It's like a graduating class in Mesa.
Yeah, it really is. It's like the farmers finally caught on. It's like, wait, I can get the old barn burned down, controlled by the local fire department because they want some place to train. Okay, so they would actually. So instead, you would still see it. You would still see the old barn, which like half of it is gone, and then the current barn next to it, which looks Nice.
It's so funny because there's another place up the street that's just like a chronology of tractors. Like you can see,
cool.
You can see all the new ones, like because they're like blue and green and painted still.
Yeah.
And then there's the ones. It's like the that classic evolution of man from monkey to man.
Yeah.
But it's like all the way back from like a fucking hand operated sickle hanging on a wall that goes all the way to like a brand new tractor where a dude with a smartphone is listening to satellite radio in a completely blocked off air conditioned control room. Looks like fucking NASA inside, but he's growing corn.
Right.
And meanwhile,
and the
40 years ago, his grandfather was on a rickety ass
that's
metal
what I was
seat
about to
bouncing
say.
up and
It's like,
down, breaking his ass.
Right, exactly. It wasn't that long ago. It's like, whose was the sickles? Dad's.
I can't tell you how many times I have been waylaid by tractors. Only lived here
I crossed over train tracks 3-4 times. I'm wondering how many times you're going to get stopped by that.
Twice so far.
Yeah.
Twice so far, but they've been short trains, number one. And number two, I think.
Is that anything like a short bus?
Sort of. The guy he was wearing his Casey Jones hat pulled sideways, and his head was hanging out the window, and his tongue was lolling about, and he was cranking the horn like a madman. So I was like, short train.
Oh, yeah, it's a short train.
But the trains out here are like.
That sounds like a good band name, Short Train.
Short Train. I'll tell Eric Daniels about it. But they're like really fast art museums because of all the
graffiti,
beautiful graffiti on them.
Yep.
And 10 times out of 10, it's just whatever the dude's moniker is.
Moving art museum.
Yeah. Because you can watch and it's just like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And just like these beautiful colors and just striking shapes. And they all are just like.
None of us are stopping to appreciate the amount of money spent on paint by these kids.
Right. And that's the thing. No one is even bothering to be like, whatever. Like the owners of the trains are like, we don't give a fuck.
Spent, but I mean, really, they're still in the cans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's probably the perfect place for it because it's like, well, you got before it was a big yellow Southern Pacific or whatever car, and now it says Scribe spelled Skrybeee. You know what I mean?
You know how they put that on there? Mayjic.
Let me show you some Mayjic. That's what a French magician does. A really pretentious one.
A what? Yes,
yeah.
That's what
Classic Mayjic callback.
Yeah.
That's the Mayjic of this show.
Yeah. it has its je ne sais quoi.
Yeah. That's the type of art that is here in the sticks.
Yeah.
We don't have the Louvre. We have whatever.
Yeah. You have the Union Pacific side.
Union Pacific where you can you're not it's free.
Yeah.
You will not have to pay for
other
it.
than time.
Yeah. It's free money-wise, but you will be stuck there for 20 minutes watching art that you are going to judge harshly.
Yeah, pretty harshly.
Because, you wanted to get somewhere, and now you're forced to look at art.
And by art, we mean words.
The one thing...
Painted really cool.
Yeah, I'm waiting for... The one time I saw graffiti that was not somebody's handle was a beautiful recreation of Captain Crunch.
No shit.
Yeah, like... The last, half of the car was just an amazing recreation of the 80s Captain Crunch with a big old spoon of, like, it wasn't an allegory for drugs. He wasn't high. He wasn't eating crack.
I just feel like painting Captain Crunch.
It was literally Captain Crunch with a spoonful of the said cereal. And it was awesome.
Was that the cookie one?
No, that was they look like the yellow pillars.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
Cookie Crisp is what you're talking about.
Cookie Crisp. Yeah, I remember being so... By the way, for the record, advertising works. I was that little kid who was like, "Wait, they make a cookie cereal, Mom. I want to try that." Mom's like, "No, that's dumb. You don't want to try. That's gonna be disgusting." I'm like, "No, Mom, I want to try that." No, it was disgusting. I didn't like it.
Cookie Crisp
it's still in business. Somebody must eat this shit.
Oh yeah.
What the?
Cereal is the craziest facet of food, I believe, because it can be anything from like your grape nuts, which is basically just whatever someone grabbed off the ground and threw into a box.
Listen, I don't need anybody talking about my grape nuts.
Blue balls are a close cousin.
Right.
But grape nuts are even worse. That's when a rubber band is involved.
Oh,
purple.
God.
Get me?
I got a visual of that.
Good. But yeah, but that's the thing. You can go all the way from
maybe it's the incense.
Literal. Yeah, it's cleaning your anus out. You can go from literal, like picked up off the dirt and here it is, eat it, to like tiny versions of actual food.
Yeah.
Tiny cinnamon rolls, tiny French toast, tiny Oreos, whatever. And that's the thing. When you're a kid.
I just had the best idea for an Army Men cereal where you're literally eating Army Men.
It could be done.
Yeah.
But then what's the what are we tying it into? Army men are not a very big cultural touchstone.
Oh,
at
make
this
Mars
point.
Attack cereal.
Oh, that's even less appeal.
Yeah, that's what I love about it.
Well, how are we going to sell it? We're not going to get funding. Like, we're going to go to Shark
Every
Tank.
little kid in the world is going to want to eat Martians and army men. Come on.
They're going to be like, what is Mars, mommy? And they go, I don't know. But
It's one of those planets that they'll tell you doesn't exist.
it might or might not have had
Yeah.
life on it. Now,
Right.
shut up and go to school. Yeah.
There might be water there right now. There might not. Who knows?
Who cares? Like, you're going to run up there and be like, oh, I'm parched. A good thing Mars has water. Shut the fuck up. It doesn't matter to anybody. But yeah, let's talk about cereal because that's what does matter. Ninja Turtles had a cereal.
Who did?
Ninja Turtles. Everybody does.
Yeah.
Ghostbuster had one.
So were you
Everybody had
eating Ninja Turtles?
Yes.
See?
It was essentially Lucky Charms,
But turtle heads?
turtle heads, and the weapons and etc.
That's a whole new spin on the term turtle head, let me tell you.
Classic.
Yeah. Is that-
I can think of three versions of it now.
Right. Not only that, but like if you're putting it
Oh
up,
no, 4. Oh
if
shit.
if you're putting that cereal up your ass, is that a reverse turtle head?
It might be.
Yeah.
But you'd have to mash it into some sort of, because it's like powdery and dry. I
Oh.
imagine if a turtle's head literally fell apart if you open your hand around it, you'd have to smash it into some sort of. I digress.
Wow, there's a process now. I don't know
Well, yeah,
about this.
because a handful of cereal and a turtle's head. One is you can throw it into the air and it scatters. If you throw a turtle's head into the air, it just falls down and goes plop.
Hey, what's your tangent patrol,
Sure.
but still. Train of thought derailed.
Woo,
Hey,
Tangent Patrol.
yeah.
Pull
so-
over.
Woo! Your drinking horn there or whatever. What is that? What is that styrofoam? What the fuck is that made of?
It's plastic.
Okay.
For those
plastique.
that initiate,
Was it made from Mayjic?
It might be. It's essentially a goat horn. It's an insulated coffee goat horn.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's
my,
cute.
My idea was like if we ever went somewhere.
No. I like it now.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
the thing. I've never gone anywhere where I've because I drink liquids too quickly.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So every time I go,
dude, if I wait like 5 minutes, this is not going to be the same temperature. I'm drinking this now.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my problem.
Yeah.
Because every time we go out somewhere,
I never understand somebody who still has the same Pepsi in their hand a half an hour later.
Right? Like
Yeah.
listen, energy transfer is happening.
Yeah, right now.
Your
It's like having a
glass-
copper tabletop.
yeah. It's like magic, if you will.
Magique.
Mayjic. Fucking A, man. Like, what kind of dumbass? Like, let's just talk about my countertop for just a hot second. When you own a kitchen, right, and you're typically working with foods that are either needing to be kept cold or hot.
Right.
That's the thing about food.
Yeah.
It's you either eat it cold or
Which
you eat it hot.
is in a kitchen.
Very
Because
seldom.
you put. Did I just spill on me again?
Probably.
Jesus
You're all
Christ.
over the fucking place, man.
It's like I had wine tonight or something. I don't know.
But how many foods do you eat at exactly room temperature? Almost none, because that's disgusting.
Yeah,
right?
that's pretty nasty.
You say, well,
Maybe vegetables.
but
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
vegetables need to be cold. Like if
Okay.
you have a vegetable tray.
Okay,
it's
there's a
gotta be
lot of
cold.
foods, but still, we digress.
I still think nothing should be eaten at room temperature. Because if you put something in your mouth and it's the same temperature as the air around you, you go, ugh,
Yeah,
what is this?
yeah. I've
Cold
had that
or hot?
experience with certain girls.
Right. Because
Yeah.
if they're it's like not. It's like if you slip into water that's the same temperature as the air, you may not even feel.
Yeah,
the
it's like, am I
difference.
even wet?
Yeah.
Who knows?
What's happening? Where's
Yeah.
the flour? You said.
So anyway, back to your countertop.
Yeah. So, moral of the story is around food, you want insulators. You want something that will allow as little energy transfer as possible.
i.e., to keep it the temperature that it was when
Yeah.
you either took it out of the
the
freezer
intended temperature.
or out of the fridge.
Ice cream is best when it's frozen. Yes?
Yeah, you could not have ice cream on that countertop. Why? Let's discuss why, Dave.
Maybe I'll post a video.
I think you should actually.
Like,
that was the first thing I thought of. The moment that you put an ice cube on top of your
Here's what I'll do.
copper.
I am going to
Topped.
I'm going to commission my Duracell countertop. I am going to commission.
Duracell.
I'm going to commission an ice sculpture of a swan. It'll probably cost me $400. It'll be 3 feet tall.
I wonder how long it would last.
Yeah,
It would
I'm going to
last
set up this
5 minutes.
camera. We're going to
$400 gone in 5
Yeah,
minutes.
I'm going to get a big timer so it'll be
Oh my
in
god!
frame, and we go
This
bam.
is the best idea.
I say,
Oh,
that,
this winter we're so making ice sculptures and putting it on your countertop.
I say that something 3 foot tall by 2 foot wide lasts less than 30 minutes.
I'm gonna make a statue of David with a huge dong and watch it melt.
but the dong stays. It's just
Yeah.
on the counter, floating around in the water.
I'm gonna have him like arching backwards, so the last thing to melt is his erect penis.
What it needs to be is like, since it melts so fast, it needs to be someone like T2. Right?
Yeah.
Like Arnold falling into.
Yeah.
Because if you had like an ice Arnold.
Up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Classic.
Yeah.
If we had from the elbow up a thumbs up and it just goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, kids, it's the end of T2. What? And forget it.
Listen, he dies at the end. Don't worry about it.
Not spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers for a 500-year-old movie. Hey, guess what? Gilgamesh, he also runs afoul of some whatever. Well, that's only 4,000 years old, so don't rush into it.
I mean, technically, your whole countertop is a spoiler because that's what it's going to do to anything gold.
Right. What a fucking...
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's totally fun and
Looks
amazing
cool,
and pretty. It's very pretty.
It's the same principle of like if you see an old like propeller plane, the spinning of the prop, you go, that's pretty.
Yeah.
You don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
You don't want it in your house.
Right.
It happens to be on a plane.
By the way, for anybody who doesn't know, it's a copper-topped counter, and
literally, it is just copper.
And I did not know this, but that's a conductor.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's in your walls.
Right. So Dave, like the moment I walk in and I pointed this out, he's like, "Oh, watch this," and he puts an ice cube on it, and it literally like just disappears.
It is straight up Arnold Schwarzenegger at the end of T2.
It's I mean, you don't
now there's no way around it. I
you
have
don't
to
even
post
need
a
liquid
video.
mercury.
Yeah,
it's really kind of a fun.
I knew it was going to be that way from the get-go because there's just no way around it. We came into this house and we saw, for those of you uninitiated, the new house is as if an Old West church had an inappropriate evening with an Old West saloon. 9 months later, my house was born.
Right. It's the love child.
And
it's the redheaded stepchild.
The brain trusts decided to put 9 acres of copper in my kitchen. So again,
10.
anything 10, 20, 30, 500 copper acres I have, you cannot put anything hot or cold on there.
Right.
Unless, here's the good thing about it. If something is super hot and you want it to cool down, boom, just don't leave it there too long because then you have tepid shit and you've wasted the opportunity.
Do you suppose sex on that countertop would just be really boring? It would just like...
It would be draining. How about that? It would be draining, literally.
Why am I so tired?
Yeah, it would literally suck the heat from your body.
Right, yeah.
I can't imagine because
So every time you need to recharge, just flip over. Somebody else is on top.
Yeah, and then you hope to God that... Well, no, because then you just drain the other side.
Right.
Like the copper top. You drain those batteries. They are gone.
I'm telling you, I see action movies, I see porn movies, and we could do so many different movies on just using that countertop.
Yeah. The copper countertop cinematic universe. The CCMU, right? No, CCCU?
Because he's sorry, Dave was talking with me about it before, and I'm like, the first idea in my head is like an action movie where like 2 enemies staring across each other from over the top of this countertop, and one just like grabs the fucking the microwave cord and like plugs it in and zaps the other guy across the room.
It's essentially like Deep Blue Sea with no water.
Yeah,
like it because every
movie is, but
yeah, but what would happen would be like. What the characters involved, like one would be an EMT, right? And so they just happen to have like in my laundry room right next off the thing, there'd be like the clear paddles. And so like, the terrorist or whatever, the bad guy's chasing them around. So you grab it and like, you're doing that thing where you go, oh yeah, clear. And like,
defibrillator pads across the room.
And then just go, boo, and fly out the back door, like busting of glass. And like, the classic, like every time an explosion happens in an 80s movie, like no body parts are injured, but you just fly backwards like, whoa. Through the plate glass window.
I'm trying to think of other genres of movies that we can
sci-fi.
Yeah, because it's a copper countertop, and there is a certain element of Mad Max.
It will be probably the only character in every movie. But it'll be interesting having to justify shooting every genre in a kitchen. That will be like, oh, that's the same stove from.
Yeah,
Space Fuckers 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's the
Space Fuckers 5, the one where everybody dies because all their energy is sucked out through the countertop.
Yeah. It's just,
God, do you remember that movie? So
corpse
good.
after corpse. Oh, maybe that would be a nice short film. It's like my countertop is essentially like Finger Blast Junction or whatever. What do you call it? Like a Lover's Lane. So in the movie, just
Finger Blast Junction.
Finger Blast Junction.
You went to a different high school than I did.
Was it Butt Fuck Point?
Yeah. Oh,
Fuck
yeah.
Butt Point?
Wow. And to think Howard Cunningham never took his kids there.
Finger Blast Junction. Yeah, but then just like classic 50s sedan after 40s Studebaker pulls up in front of the house.
God.
The 50s kids in the sock hops are like, oh, let's go have sex. They get on, boom, drained immediately. And then it's just like a towering
body after body.
Just towering
What's
bodies.
with all the skulls in the corner of your kitchen, Dave?
Don't worry about it, baby.
Forget it. It's nothing.
And then there's like me making a coffee, and there's just like a kid with like slick back neoprene hair and like the 50s glasses, and they're like, who's that guy? And I'm like there, and I'm like in my pajamas. I'm like, don't worry about it, baby. And they climb the mountain of bodies, and they get up there and
Just
die.
to have sex. Oh,
Yeah.
they die.
Oh, great. More teens to come and fuck on my counter.
And then it cuts back to Dave.
I wouldn't even be that invested. I would just like get a broom and like push them off.
Yeah.
Come on, Emma. Classic look. But then I'll need like a Nothing But Trouble style body disposal roller coaster. Right?
Wow. I don't know if I ever saw Nothing But Trouble all the way through. I remember seeing, what was the one with the haunted hotel with Liam Neeson playing
High
the
Spirits.
farting. Yeah,
High Spirits is so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Whereas like I don't think I ever got through Nothing But Trouble.
Nothing But Trouble is if like Pee-wee's Big Adventure took brown acid. It's
and then shit it out.
Yeah.
It's
as if like, okay, you got Pee Wee Herman and his beautiful, wonderful, childlike vision of the world in Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
And then in Nothing But Trouble, you have Dan Aykroyd's like twisted, perverted, brain demented.
What happens when you don't have Harold Ramis in the room going, maybe that's a little too far.
Yeah. You just have literally nobody saying no.
Yeah.
You have Nothing But Trouble.
Right. Was John Candy in it too or no?
Mm-hmm. As 3 characters.
God.
plays-
That's almost a reason to see it right there though.
It's so sad. You can tell he's so sad.
He's just phoning it in the whole time.
Yeah, because he
He's
plays.
like, I hate this movie. Why did I do this? Oh, I know Dan Aykroyd.
He plays the cop who pulls over Chevy Chase. He plays his own sister.
Right.
And I think
That's right.
I want to say he plays another character, but I can't conjure it. I know Dan Aykroyd plays the judge and one of the fat devil babies in the goo house. But Jesus Christ.
I don't even know if we can find this to stream or rent at
What
this
a
point.
I've got a copy of it. I think
Do
it's
you
over there.
really?
Yeah. Nothing But
Jesus
Trouble.
Christ.
It is a fucking. It's like so. Like if you flip a coin,
I thought I had some esoteric shit in my collection.
there's some nutty shit over there, man. But if you flip a coin and like heads is Pee Wee Herman and tails is
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, that's definitely some polar opposites right there.
But it's like the same, because like the roller coaster and like the zany interior of the Nothing But Trouble house and the roller coaster seems like without all of the murder, it could be a fun place to hang. But it always just
the
dangles
murder
you.
brings it down.
Yeah, because like when Chevy Chase and Demi Moore are there and they get dropped into a huge room just full of dog toys.
Just listen to this fucking cast, man. It's like you're just naming off all these people. No, they were really in this piece of shit movie.
Tupac Shakur is in Nothing But Trouble.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, I'm not kidding you. Yes, he is in it and performs with Dan Aykroyd playing on the organ.
Pre-hologram.
Yes, he was what was it? His first band he was in.
Wow.
Before he was even Tupac himself.
Wow.
It was like it's not Rhythm Nation or whatever, but it was like some band and
Krista, are you looking it up? Is that what's happening right now?
she should. It's just like a cavalcade. It's like literally Dan Aykroyd, John Candy, Chevy Chase, Demi Moore, Peter Aykroyd. Yeah, he did. He played the other fat baby and also like did story
Is
credits.
that his brother?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was other Aykroyds.
Yeah,
This is like the Brian Doyle Murray of Aykroyds.
Peter and Dan Aykroyd actually wrote the movie. It was based on
shit.
a real life incident from Dan Aykroyd's life where he was simply pulled over in a small town. And apparently
it was a murder town.
To him, apparently.
You're right. Okay.
Yeah. So Peter Aykroyd and him, he was in another one of his movies too, but it doesn't matter.
It should say Tupac Shakur as.
Well, it was his. What was his band name? It's like whatever 90s. Like maybe it's Too Legit to Quit. That's not the name, but I want to say that's what it is. It doesn't matter.
God.
I remember seeing that as a kid and being like, this feels like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but like if Pee-wee's Big Adventure was a gallon of milk, Nothing But Trouble is that gallon of milk left on my counter
Yeah.
for a week. Yeah, Digital Underground.
Wow.
Bingo,
Oh,
there
I
you go.
remember that now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the Humpty Dance.
Tupac was in that?
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't the front man.
No, that's the thing. He was just one of the dudes in Digital Underground. And in this, he's like, they get pulled over by John Candy, and they're like, well, let's have a concert, and then you can go. And so Dan Aykroyd is in like a spinning Wurlitzer, like he's in a fucking Oregon style pizza. and like Digital Underground's there, and they're all rapping and shit. And his his dick nose is off the charts.
That I remember.
The
from their view.
And the fact that he's like not even a human, like he takes his nose off, he takes his teeth out, all of his limbs are fake. I feel his hair is fake. He's essentially like Darth Vader, where he's just like a brain in a jar that they just put a costume on and he runs around a giant house.
Wow.
That's a trip.
Was it, by the way, as long as we're talking about Digital Underground for a second, is it true that he had the fake nose because he did so much coke, or is that just a urban legend?
I imagine it's an urban legend.
Okay.
I think that the fake nose on Dan Aykroyd was
No, not Dan Aykroyd.
Oh,
on the Humpty guy.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Dan, but yeah, Dan Aykroyd's fake nose was simply for the dick joke.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he was like, wouldn't it be funny if the end of my nose looked like a penis?
Right.
And then we had to watch that for 90 minutes.
Right.
And here's the answer to that question. Wouldn't it be funny if my nose looked like a penis? The answer was no. And we still had to watch it for 90
sure?
fucking
Really?
minutes to
Okay.
make sure.
All right.
Oh my God.
Makes me uncomfortable just looking at Dan Aykroyd.
It's so weird because there's an eerily similar scene in that movie and Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Mm.
So, in Rocky Horror Picture Show where, Barry Bostwick and Susan Sarandon are separated and they go to their canopied beds.
Okay.
And, when, that person comes in that you think is Barry Bostwick and or Susan Sarandon, it turns out it's Tim Curry each time and he fucks them both. Because the scene where Dan Aykroyd takes himself apart is shot like that.
Okay.
So those two are inextricably like every time in my mind I see Dan Aykroyd's disgusting judge character starting to pull himself apart when Tim Curry as Barry Bostwick comes in and then they fuck each other. And I realize that's not a real memory. That couldn't have happened.
It was Mayjic.
Yeah, it was Mayjic. Even in the director's cut of Rocky Horror, I doubt Dan Aykroyd fucked Tim Curry. What a wicked time.
Wow.
Speaking of weird movies, and now that I brought up Rocky Horror, the Loft in Tucson?
Okay, yes.
But basically, it's a little indie theater that they do the Rocky Horror whatever.
Okay,
once a month.
right. Yeah, because I've been to the Fox, but I've never actually been to the Loft.
The Loft is a cute little place.
Have you been to the Fox?
Not yet.
It's a historic theater. It's like their Orpheum Theater here in town. Like we have the Orpheum. Have you been to the Orpheum?
I've been almost nowhere.
Okay, so for everybody, Dave included, the Orpheum Theater in Phoenix was one of those 1920s, 30s theaters built in Phoenix that was supposed to be like a catch-all type, beautiful interior theater. Like it was almost built kind of like
Gamage Auditorium, sort of. Right?
yeah,
Where
but
it's
kind
just
of
a
like
catch-all?
mixed with the Egyptian and Man's Chinese theater, where it was meant to be a palace, like a movie palace.
So was the Orpheum made? Because I know we have Frank Lloyd Wright structures here in Arizona.
Orpheum was not Frank Lloyd Wright. I don't
Okay,
believe.
just making sure.
Right. But it's beautiful inside. It's technically a movie theater, but it was also a venue. It has its own built-in Wurlitzer organ. The organ is bigger than your fucking desk.
Oh yeah.
It's huge, and then the pipes go up into, hi table. So the pipes are like in the walls of this place. It's amazing, and then it's all hand painted inside, and they've completely redone brought it back. They brought it back.
Restored it.
Yeah, thank you. Restored is the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
They recycled it.
Yeah, they recycled it. Anyway, it's a gorgeous building. So it's technically like one of those movie palaces, and we have one of those here, and it's gorgeous. And I've seen a few silent movies here where they play live Wurlitzer organ accompaniment. So in Tucson, they have the Fox, and it was just a movie. It's a movie theater from the 30s, but it's pretty Art Deco inside. It's pretty cool.
I want to say the Loft is like from the 50s or 60s because
Okay.
it's got that real hard aesthetic.
Yeah.
But I've seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show there a few times, but I came into contact with the weirdest movie I've ever seen to that date. I've seen a weird
The
movie
Room.
since, obviously. No, not even. Like that one, that's
Birdemic.
nothing. No, Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Oh, which I've never seen.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Wow, what just happened?
Oh, the headphones are screwing up. Don't worry,
Okay.
it's the box.
Okay.
But I don't know how or why I ended up at a screening of Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Okay.
But I did. And I was like, because it's like a musical in the style, like it's a sexually provocative musical
Right.
along the style of Rocky Horror, obviously. But I don't even know how to describe that movie.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen what's the like horror musical one. There's another one like that.
The horror musical?
Oh shit, I can't think of the name right now. I can't think of who's in it. I can't think of anything. Why did I even mention it? I don't know.
I think of it either.
Yeah. I mean, it's no Abominable Dr. Phibes, but you know what is.
Yeah. But that's so.
Okay, so you saw Hedwig and the Angry Inch at the Loft.
It was such a bizarre experience, but in a way that I'd never. Just speaking of weird movies, I saw
now we're
it
okay again.
Yeah, it's weird. I saw it at a weird time in my life because I was like in my 20s and like still trying to figure myself out, like who I was. And then I see this movie called Hedwig and the Angry Inch, and I'm like, huh? And it started touching upon issues that I had never even.
Pun intended?
Literally, yes. It started touching upon things that I had never even considered, and I was like, what? And then I was like, But since I was too young, I'm like, nope, just too weird.
Yeah.
Throw it on the back burner.
Oh yeah. It's out on Criterion now, of all things. So
It is a legitimately good movie.
Right.
Like it is good
Is it?
storytelling.
Okay.
It is good musical performance. It's just the story matter is so alien, but only alien for the time. Like
Right,
now
right.
in modern times with like gender fluidity and gender politics and everything in the state it is, it feels almost quaint.
right, okay.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
You know how like today when you watch something made like let's say in the 90s.
Right.
and, like,
Yeah. It was like,
if
oh
it's-
my god, this was so
yeah,
edgy for
like
its
if
time.
it's a sitcom
Yeah.
and like a character's gay, like the
Yeah.
whole episode of being like, oh god, are they going to come out? Like with
on
Ellen,
a very special
yeah.
episode of the Cosby Show,
and like that seems
we talk
so
about
hilarious.
Dr. Huxley's naughty touch.
Yeah, but that they wouldn't have that on a fucking special episode.
Well, they did. They talked about what was the Different Strokes. Different Strokes had a very special episode
That
where
was
it's
back when you could still scar kids.
right, and that was exactly what it's like. They were talking about the bad touch.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like now, so some things obviously have not lost. Anything with children does not
Yeah.
lose its sting.
That's true.
But every piece of media now from like the 80s to the 90s where it's like, oh, I'm gay. It's like so hilariously funny because like gay is now the new vanilla.
Right.
Gay is the new straight. Like if you have a child and they grow up gay, like if this were the 90s, you'd go, my God.
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me? Now, I hope that the weirdest thing Elliot does is be gay, right? Because now, like, I'm not a 50s dad rolling, no, son of mine. Like, as long as he doesn't end up dressing as an animal or joining a cult or, like, bisecting his penis or what, all this other
Because of
weird
the
things.
cult that he joined, because
Exactly.
he dresses up like an animal.
It's all a vicious cycle. Like, so now it's just like, well, everything is everywhere. So now Hedwig and the Angry Inch seems almost quaint because it's basically a story about a man wanting to transition into a woman, trusting the wrong people, getting a bad botched surgery, the Angry Inch, and then trying to grapple with that for the rest of their life, also trying to earn enough money to do the full surgery.
Wow.
Which
Does it have like the Godfather 3 ending where like we just watch him like keel over in a chair and die? Or
no, the ending is bonkers. But that's the thing. So it feels very like, you know, this is a very hot button issue. It's like
Right.
a man wanting to be a woman. Now that's like par for the course.
Right.
And at the end, after all the singing and all this and all that, the end, you know, culminates in like, hey, I'm okay as I am. And it is signified pictorially by the main character walking nude down a wet street in the middle of the night. So you get a gratuitous shot of this man's ass for like half a mile.
You know what that guy needs is some of that incense for his ass.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And another
That is Mayjic, my friends.
Mayjic. Another interesting thing about it too is so the character of Hedwig is the actor is male. The character is born male, wants to be a female.
Right.
In Hedwig's band, his/her, Hedwig's guitar player, is played by a woman who wears a beard and plays a man the whole time and is obviously also grappling with a sexual identity that goes completely unmentioned until the very end, at which point that character goes from dressed as a man with a beard to boom,
pulls
a
the beard
lady.
off.
No, not even. We don't see a transition. It's a hard cut from this man who looks like Bret Michaels to a beautiful woman in a flowing white dress singing.
Wow. All right.
And it is that hard a shift where it's like the whole movie trying to get Hedwig from man to woman.
So are you remembering all this from the one time that you watched it, or have you seen it since then?
I've seen it twice.
Okay.
Because I the first time I was like, huh? And the second time I was like, oh.
Yeah, at some point you have to revisit this. What I don't know what this stirred, but I need to watch this again.
It just had so many, not necessarily like the issues were difficult to grasp. Like I was like, okay, I get it. Like they want to transition into a different gender.
Right.
The thing that stuck out about it as weird to me was the character of the bearded Bret Michaels looking character who was obviously a woman.
Right.
Who is obviously the flip side of Hedwig's coin, who goes no mention.
And then just boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. It's like when King Kong in Godzilla vs. Kong plays a character, zero dialogue. Same thing here.
Yeah.
This woman as a man plays a character, zero dialogue. But you can see Hedwig's journey on this other character.
So speaking of movies that were so edgy for their time, have you ever seen 32 Freaks?
The Freaks? Yeah, I got a copy.
Yeah. That's another good example of that.
Freaks is
love that movie.
Freaks is a kind of sad example because
is it? I mean,
just because of the ending, because the studio forced the ending where they are the bad guys. Like it is a compelling story of intrigue until
yeah, but I mean, did they really? I mean.
One of us, because here's the thing: every one of them, aside
the whole
from
point of the movie is a fucking revenge story,
right? But it goes from like a smart, like the little German guy, right?
Yeah,
he's a smart guy. His little wife, very smart. They're very clever. That's the point of it. Is despite their physical inadequacies, they are an intelligent people.
Yeah,
and that's what it was building toward. And so
but it doesn't. That being said, I never felt like it paints them as the whole time they've been evil.
No. I don't think that at all. I'm just pointing to the end, where we should have a clever culmination of a plan, and it is not. They are literally just turned into like chanting monsters and it just takes away.
It's a good horror movie.
No, yeah, as it is, it's fine. I just think that the end tonally is off theme.
Interesting.
Right there toward the
all right.
end.
Well, yeah, I mean, I disagree, but I couldn't see what you're talking about.
It's art is up to the beholder, but it just feels like when you're on that ride.
But but that wasn't even then. I don't know how much of that fed into the fact of why the movie literally disappeared off the map. Until like the '60s new wave was like, oh, this is magnifique. Have you seen the Freaks? We need to bring it back. Because, I mean, a lot of it was more the fact that, it's like you had this backlash against how circus freaks or sideshow freaks were being, how they were being treated versus how people were being perceiving how they were treated or, one way or the other. It was so much about perception, and yet one way or the other, in some ways it was a shitty life, but on the other hand, this was their jobs. It's like, this is how they made money. They literally were people with physical deformities that could turn it into a show and make money, and they did a good job of it.
Yeah, the thesis of the movie is essentially like it's one of the first like almost PSAs.
Yeah,
where it's like, hey, we're all different, but don't let the outside matter. Blah 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 blah. And then it's like, they're murderers too.
Only because. That was it's essentially a horror movie. That's the road that it goes towards, but that's hardly the only. I mean, all your major characters, all your major good guy characters, including the ones who commit an act of essentially a murder towards the end of the movie, are all freaks, with the exception of 2 characters who are norms, who are good guys. All the bad guys in that movie are norms.
Yeah, that's
which is why I don't quite see it as this whole movie that paints.
Well, no, I'm not saying the whole movie. I'm just saying the ending. Everything about
I know, but
them
I honestly do not feel like it takes away from painting these characters as normal or as normal, not normal, but as painting them as human.
Well, no, I'm not saying that either.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't paint them as anything but human. I'm just saying that the ending is handled clunkily to me. Like, it doesn't necessarily cheapen the story or cheapen the characters. It just feels like that when the through line is, hey, we're just as good as XYZ.
Yeah.
When, the plan is now, spring the trap, and it's just like the slow closing in of the circle. It's like, that doesn't seem very, like, if like you're watching the Poirot mysteries, and at the end, he just like casually looks up from his paper and he goes, it was the butler, and he looks back. You go, what? I was building up for that? And he goes, I've ticket for one. And he's like waiting at a train station or whatever. But it's also been a while since I've seen that too. I've seen it 3 or 4 times, but it's been a while.
Yeah, I got to see it on the big screen once, actually. So that was kind of cool. Because it's also I love old movies when you get to see them on a big screen, because they're like time capsules. You could all of a sudden see all these details that you can't necessarily see even on a good 40 50-inch TV. You can see into the room. It's like looking into the past. It's really cool.
Especially with black and white, especially whether it's photography or whether it's cinematography. I think I prefer black and white a lot of the time, simply because you're focused on like the elements, not necessarily for me anyway, especially with photography. I'll just stick with photography. For photography, a lot of the details get lost in the color because you're sort of adrift in this sea of reds and greens and blues and whatever. Yeah. With black and white, you see shades of gray, and those shades are gradients that lead the eye around the subject.
Yeah, it's crisper. It draws the eye.
Yeah, because if you look at a beautiful landscape, you have to follow like the rolling of the hills and the whatever.
Yeah.
But in like a black and white portrait of people or a person, your mind, an eye is driven to where the colors are, not necessarily like the important contours of the subject.
Right. Yeah, you see the way the room matches, not necessarily the objects in the room.
Yeah, you're blinded by content or by context over content.
Yeah. You can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah, and that's why I stick with black and white, because it's so rudimentary. Right. It's hard to escape the point.
So all of a sudden my eye is tangent patrol. Who's in the painting?
I am the one on the left. Adam is the one in the middle.
Okay.
Andy is the one on the right.
And it says
Fistful of Podcasts.
Oh, Fistful of Podcasts. Okay, now I see it. Okay.
That was done by a fan who confusedly put Adam's head bigger than mine. I forgave her, but said if it happens again, we're going to have words.
Yeah.
Plus, that was made like 15 years ago or whatever.
50 years ago? Jesus, how long have you been doing this show?
That was made in 1967.
Wow. It's almost as old as my house. Yeah, that's amazing.
I met her on Twitter, 1966.
Wow. That's great. Yeah, I remember those Twitter days before Facebook. Those were great.
We were basically just tying notes to birds back then.
Yeah.
Imagine the bird that had to carry that.
Well, none of that. It's extinct now, that bird.
It was a dodo.
There was only one.
It was just the one.
It was just the one bird. It's extinct now.
Oh, man.
Yeah, one of those flying dodos. I love.
It's like I had to give him a rocket. That's why it was the last one. The rocket exploded.
Tangent Patrol again. That kid Johnny in Freaks, the not the human torso. He was the kid who basically he was like a waist up human.
Yeah.
So he walked around on his hands. He plays like a weird dodo bird in several MGM movies of the time, including like a Tarzan movie. Yeah, and you're wondering like how they pulled off this weird suit. It's him inside the suit.
You got lemons make lemonade.
Yeah,
because that sort of body mechanic you could not literally
It's
get
one of those things where
else.
like how did they do that? How did they get? Yeah, because that doesn't look. There's
no
way there's somebody that bow-legged.
Yeah,
right.
That'd be funny. The guy holding his ankles.
Right.
All right, man. Well, hey, Scott, it's been great. Thanks for being the first guest in studio.
I feel like the room is now, and the show and the studio is properly de-virginized. There's bodily fluids everywhere. at this point.
It's been the seal is broken.
Yeah.
All the spirits have rushed out, and all the Nazis have turned to dust.
Don't look at it, Marion.
You know, in the real.
Yeah, I
life,
mean, you
the
can't look at
first
it anyway
fucking
because it's a
thing.
podcast, which means it's voice only. But still, don't look at it,
But if you
Marion.
could, it would
Yeah.
turn you to stone, probably, or sand, or salt, or
Right.
I don't know. Pick your myth.
And how would it do that? Magic.
Magic. So let's do some staff recommendations, and I think we can go in on one together. Raiders of the Lost Genre, right?
You guys need to check out on YouTube Raiders of the Lost Genre.
It's a super fun show.
I'm almost done editing episode 11 right now, which is The Meg
Meg
from
with Jay
with Jason Statham, who has no eyebrows.
Have
you noticed though he has no eyebrows?
He doesn't have much. He like his.
Don't get me
whole-
wrong, I get it. You know, if I was of the female persuasion or otherwise homosexual, I'd want to fuck him too.
Scott got a little wet for him. But Jason Statham, all of his body is like 5 o'clock shadow. Eyebrows, face, head, it's all 5 o'clock shadow. Like
It's amazing.
I feel like
I don't know how he does it.
maybe it's just like every month he's like back down to one in the Clippers.
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
has a
It turns out
stylist.
he's actually like a cousin of Robin Williams, and he has to shave it all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. But either way, I mean,
he can
you got-
come in. Yes,
get
I
some
recommend
words.
Raiders of the Lost Genre.
check out Raiders of the Lost Genre.
Check it out twice, or like all 10 episodes so far.
I think I'll recommend my favorite episode, which I think is probably Dinosaurus. Either Dinosaurus or maybe, oh Jesus, what was the Wynorski one? I forget.
The Dinosaur Island. Yeah, that
Dinosaur
was a
Island.
lot of fun.
Dinosaur Island is
I
hilarious.
mean, not just because of the bouncing tits.
Yeah, Dinosaur Island is hilarious in a pseudo-modern context, whereas Dinosaurus is hilarious in that
90s
caveman,
B movie. Yeah.
the caveman is so delightful in Dinosaurus. Oh my god, what a great character. Anyway,
Okay, that's whose recommendation was that? Was that mine?
that was
Yours?
both of ours.
All right,
We're both
go for
throwing
that.
our weight
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
Raiders of the Lost
Right.
Genre.
Oh well, if your favorite episode of those, then yeah, I'd have to go with Dinosaur Island. But runner up would be Valley of Guanji because that's our first hit.
Yeah, Valley of
Yeah.
Wanji is good, but I mean, like
Yeah.
as far as bad, good movies,
Right.
I think Dinosaurus, because it had just enough walking to remind us it was a bad movie, but not so much to remind us that it was a really bad movie. And the caveman, whatever. Guys, watch that show and then you'll get the references. Anywho, guys, thanks so much for listening.
No, thank you.
Well, no,
Oh, you weren't thanking
you were
me, you were
talking.
thanking-
You
yeah,
weren't.
all right.
Well, I guess you were listening. But
All
I mean,
right.
if you can hear this and cannot,
I'll speak for the
respond-
audience. Thank you, Dave.
Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah.
It's Jervis, by the way.
That's Magic.
Now that's the magic of the nickname. All right, guys, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on this
This
show.
full of podcasts.
He said it. See you next week.
For the try to
Fistful of Podcasts Radio.
Check. Looks like everything is rolling.
I think you let me know. You let me know when we're in.
All right. What do you mean? Like,
Just let me know when you started and you introduce me, and then
well, yeah, you'll hear I'll be like, hey, everybody, welcome to the
Sure.
show. That whole thing,
All right,
that
yeah.
whole nonsense.
well, you do it every time. I don't remember.
I know. I'm just trying to get mentally prepared. I'm looking at the pillar
Where'd you get
of
that Buddha?
smoke. That one?
Yeah.
I made that on my 3D printer.
No shit.
I made that one. I made that gaggle of gobbledygook. I made that little guy.
Is it a Buddha boot? Oh, it's got the face.
It's
Okay.
Patrick
I see.
Buddha.
Yeah. Okay. I couldn't see it. From
I've
here.
got one. There's a real one right there if you want to rub it for good luck.
I do.
Technically, that's not the real Buddha. That's not Siddhartha. That's Bodhi.
Okay.
Bodhi. Fat China guy.
Yeah.
Anywho, let's get this baby rolling.